Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are doing great. Hope that all is pleasant for you. And most importantly, I hope that you are in good health. Once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. Today I want to talk about something, our topic for today. I've mentioned this topic on numerous videos now, but I haven't really done it. But I'm going to talk about Satanism today, because I think it's almost feel like a boogeyman, when organized religion people want to scare you, and then they throw out this boogeyman from under the bed, just like a boogeyman. It's like a fairy tale. It's like folklore story. So we're going to talk about Satanism, how it made its way into the biblical book or organized religious texts. So we're looking at the BCE, before the Common Era, because some people say it's before Christ. No, that's not what it is. BCE means before the Common Era, and then CE, the Common Era. So these are the two eras we're going to talk about. And then I'm going to throw some stuff in there because I want you to know what this is. So here's the reason why. To fully emancipate yourself. Emancipate means to free yourself. Whether it's mental, physical, sexual, whatever issue you have going on in your life that is plaguing you, that's holding you down. In order for you to free yourself from that situation, my friends, my viewers, and those that watch my videos, in order for you to do that, you must be able to deconstruct. Because whoever gave you that information, they constructed that information for you to believe that. So in order for you to free yourself, emancipate yourself, you must deconstruct whatever has been constructed to put you in bondage. So that's why I do these videos. Anyone that watches my videos, my main theme or focus on my video has always been religion and government. Because these two entities are no different. These two entities, religion and government, they're like Democrat and Republican. They're not different. They play hanky-panky on you. They're just like religion is playing you to soften your mind, to soften your heart. And then politicians are the ones that benefit from that. Or those in power benefit from that. Religion is just to soften you, to make you look docile or weak or helpless, so you can turn to authority, because that's the only way authority thrive. Those in power, those that want to control you, those that want to control every aspect of your lives, these are the ways they thrive. These are how they survive. But by the time you come into knowledge, it's hard for them to survive. Those who are knowledgeable are the ones that stand up to them, even whether it's in a church or mosque, whatever religious house that person finds themselves. And those ones, they always malign because they are standing up for the truth. They are the wise ones. You understand? So the concept of Satanism or Satan did not make its way into the Bible until the BC. This was when they started constructing the Hebrew Bible. All of this is story origin. You can check it for yourself. The idea of Satan, or Satan, that's how they call it, Hasatan, Satan, was an idea started during the 6th century or the 6th BCE, originated from the Hebrew Bible. You can check it. And then it got translated during the CE. From the Hebrew Bible to the Greek Bible. And then by the time we notice, in the CE era of the Christian, the Roman conquest or introduction of Christianity into our world, that entire story changes. So how can you believe the story when it's been passed down from one generation to another? Just like the Santa Claus story. The original Santa Claus was not what we know today. But that story changed over time. And then when the business people got involved with it, the whole concept of Santa changed. It's the same idea when it comes to Satan, Lucifer. In the original Hebrew text, because Hebrew never called their book Bible. Never. This stuff was just, because why would it be called Hebrew Bible? If Hebrew books are on it, it's on a text. It's not a Bible. The Hebrew is never called Bible. Hebrew text or manuscript or scrolls, not Bible. But if you go and check, you will see they call it Hebrew Bible. You understand? So all of these things are all narrative. Whether they're positive narrative or negative narrative, they are not meant for your good. But why am I doing this video today? As I've always said on my video, that there's no such thing as Satan or the devil. There is no such thing as Satan or the devil. There's no such thing as Satanism. No. And I will prove that to you in this video, that Satanism doesn't exist. What exists are human beings. And human beings has innate abilities and power. The reason why, my friends, you don't know of these things is because they hid them from you. But it doesn't mean there are not people out there that knows these things. These things are passed down to you. These powers, these innate abilities are passed down to you from generation to generation. Every family on this planet has a gift. The Almighty did not put us on this planet to just watch vegetables or vegetations. The Almighty placed us on this planet as that creation to multiply, to enhance, to produce. Although organized religious text says our role was to multiply and produce and fill the earth, inhabit the earth, but also we have those abilities to create things. Everything you see on the planet came from the imagination and the power, the innate power of the human beings, the human minds. There are people out in our world that have special talent. And let me tell you, those powers and abilities and talents can be passed down from your generation. Every family had someone with a special power and a special gift. That's what makes our world what it is. But you must see it. And it's passed down from your great-great-great-great-grandfathers, great-great-grandmothers to you. If you want it, they'll give it to you. You understand? That's how power is passed down. To be a doctor is a talent, it's a gift passed down to you from your generation. Not everyone can be a doctor. It's a gift. If it's not passed down to you, no matter how you try, you can't be. And even if you be by chance, you wouldn't find it pleasant because that's not your calling. It's not your gift. You understand? There are doctors that they don't even need to touch you. There are human beings that are doctors. They don't even need to touch you. They just need to pronounce the word to you and you heal. The pastors, the preacher man, the bishop are like that too. Because whatever power they have, whether that power is in the tongue or in the touching of the hands, was passed down to them by their generation. I'm not just talking about something that I don't know. I've seen these things in my brief life. Yes, I've seen power. Humans do possess power. If you don't believe it, just seek it. You find it. Whatever you want in life, if you're determined to see it, you will see it. Even the fountain of life. If you want to know the fountain of life, you have to be persistent, consistent, and looking for it. You, my friend, will find it. Because why? It's not in distant. It's right in your possession. That's why Jesus says, Yeshua Mashiach says, seek first the kingdom of God and every other things. So you see, there's limited or limitless things, abundance of things. You know, he didn't specifically say what those things are or what those things will be. So it can be anything. It could be power to produce, to create, you know, to do good. That's why he wanted you to seek the kingdom. The kingdom of God that he's talking about is you. You understand? Now let's talk about the good, the power, the innate ability that you have. What I can do. It can be used for good and for evil. All you need to do to express the power that's within you is to join a group of people that shares the same abilities. Have you ever seen scientists hang out with someone who is not a scientist? Have you ever seen a scientist who does research on genetic makeup or genes or any biological research scientist? Have you ever seen them hang out with a dentist? Have you ever seen a dentist hang out with someone who is a microbiologist researcher? No. They hang around those people that shares similar power. You call it specialties. That's power. Power to show you things that you can't see. But the things are there. How did these people know there are organisms that are within the skin or in the flesh or in the stomach of a human being? How did they know? Someone saw it and it showed the others. Listen, this is what I see. Come and see it. It's a special gift and power. Human has power. And it lies in many parts of you. It's in your eyes. It's in your mouth. It's on your tongue. And it's in your hands. Someone can tell you, put your hand on the TV and I pray for you. Have you heard someone say that? Put your hand on the TV and you get your healing? That person's power is in the voice, in the mouth, it's on their tongue, it's on their hands. It can be anywhere. We all have powers. They're a guy. For those women who have multiple boyfriends, you can attest to this. All of those boyfriends you have, they touch you. But one of them that touch you, that's different than all of the rest of them. You understand? When that person touch you, you feel different, even though you have the other ones. But when this one boyfriend touches you, it makes you feel different. His power is in his hands. It's the same thing these hustlers do here, these preacher men, the preacher men of organized religion. It's power. We all have these things. But in order for you to, there are people that are good with animals. The reason is when they touch the animal is calm. Some, they can talk to the animal and the animal react. When you notice that, that's your power. We all have these things. Everything you see on the planet was created by man from the imagination and the power of man. So men are both good and evil. You understand? We do have powers, but we don't know it because this organized religion has kept us from seeing our potential. Because what would that do when all of us can notice or discover our powers that are within us? Then no one is going to screw up with you. You understand? Let me tell you, you see all these great countries, these great powerful leaders in our world today, before they do anything, they consult a sorceress. Who is a sorceress? A sorceress is just like a psychic. A psychic or sorceress. Sorceress is another dimension of power. They are human beings just like you. But they have innate power. They discover their power. They touch something, they say something to something, and they saw the effect. And they say, oh, from now on, this is what I will perfect myself with. This is what I'm obsessed with, and I will discover this. And they followed through on that. Every great leader in this world must consult. Back in the days, they used to call them witches. If you read the scripture, you see that. Even King Solomon consulted the witches, the sorcerers. These are human beings just like you. But they discovered an innate power or abilities. You understand? It's how the world is. There's no such thing as Satan. Okay, now, all of these powers can be used for good and for evil. We all know they call them mad scientists. They're also mad doctors too. There are doctors that will use their gift for evil. There are dentists that will use their gifts for evil. There are scientists that will use their gifts for evil, their power for evil. Does that mean they're Satan? You understand? If you discover, say you're in high school, you're exploring the world, and you discover your innate ability, your gift, your power, would you want to hang around people that don't have that kind of gift? You see the point? You want to hang around people who shares the same abilities as you or has the same kind of power. Now, when you have 2 or 3, 4 or 5 of them, what are you thinking? Creating a society, creating an organization of like-minded individuals with certain powers. Is that Satanism? And the more the the five of you want to explore your abilities, there's no stopping. You can go beyond. Because the way power works is, once you are entrusted with power, you say you have it, you want more of it. So the more you seek, the more you find. That's what Jesus says. You got to seek and you'll find. Say seek, you'll find. If you don't seek, you won't find. Some of you are not seeking. You're docile. You're content with who you are because that's what it said you are. But you're not what people say you are. If you choose to find it, you will. If you're looking for happiness, you're looking for joy, whatever you say, you will get. You must seek it. No woman find a man by just sitting in a house. No man find a woman by just sitting in a house. You got to look good. You got to dress good. You got to, whatever it is that you have to do to find it. It's the same thing. Whatever it is that you have to do to discover your innate power and abilities, you must do to find it. You understand? Now, I've often say, the greatest thing you can do is discover yourself. That's the first step. Once you discover yourself, you know your abilities, then you link with people that has the same abilities. Some people are bold enough to express these things. And that's why you see in places like Hollywood, you see people express their abilities. They're not afraid to express it because now they know who they are. So they show you, this is who I am. They will put tattoos all over their face. They will dress to resemble the characters that they are or who they are or what they've discovered about themselves. Does that mean they're Satan? No. Or the devil? No. They're just expressing who they are. And there's nothing wrong with you expressing who you are, who you've discovered. Because within the human beings, there are 2 dimensions of you, or 3 or 4. Some of us has multiple personalities. We don't even know it. But once you discover yourself, you see. You see. There are times in the day you're happy, and there are times in the day you change. You go through all these changes. If you're really paying attention to yourself, you see you have multiple personalities. All humans have multiple personalities. You just need to discover these things. Now, what do you do with these personalities that are you? It's what makes the difference. And some people discover these things. Does that mean they're Satan? No. Can they use those power for good things? Yes. Can they use those discovery for bad things? Yes. That's why you have mad scientists. That's why you have evil doctors. That's how you have evil scientists, researchers. They're researchers that they channel the power for good, and they're those that channel the power for evil. Does that mean they're Satan? No. Satanism is a boogeyman story. Satanism is a fairy tale created, constructed by someone who is trying to spread a narrative. And that narrative is to keep you under control so that you don't discover your innate abilities and powers that lies within you. Let me tell you, once you discover yourself, you understand. I'm telling you. You will understand. You'll be sitting somewhere in your quiet time and a message will come. I swear. It will come to you. You'll get it. When you speak wisdom. When you speak with authority and power. Discover yourself. And all these lies that have been told to you over thousands of years from that Hebrew book. I'm not going to say Bible, book, because it's been translated. The transliteration of that book over all these thousands of years have created something they call Satanism or Satan. Doesn't exist. The only thing that exists, my friends, are human beings with certain innate powers. And organized religion don't want you to know it. Because why? They want to be the only ones. You see, some people turn the preacher man, the bishop, the pastor into God. If he doesn't talk, they don't feel good. When they themselves can have the same authority as that preacher man. Jesus did not relegate that power to end not just one group of people. In fact, Jesus himself, Yeshua HaMashiach himself, was against individuals like these in our world today. Because he said, look, the thing is in you. It's not just in him. But the reason why he's talking to you, the reason why he has so much authority over you, is because he or she has discovered himself. They have found that thing. They've seeked that thing that you are not willing to seek. That's why you are the sheep and goats and followers. But when you know yourself, when you discover yourself, you wouldn't be following that individual. And that's why you see a lot of people are led astray today. Whether it's through mentally, financially, physically, whatever is out there, people are being led astray because they haven't discovered themselves. And they think these people are God. So that's my issue with organized religion. Because organized religion has made themselves God to man when they are not. If they are God, I'm a God. Jesus was a rabbi, a teacher. Yeshua HaMashiach was a rabbi. Ordinary man. Never give himself no title. All of his disciples, like they said 12, his disciples, where none of them had titles. They were called by their names. Those names are also in question too. But you can see the aspect of colonialism on them. So Satanism is a social construct. So if you are out there, my friends, and you have these abilities, the best you can do with them, for the good of the world and society, help humanity get better. If it's invention, invent things that will better the lives of the masses of people. If you have those abilities, you're doctors, you're lawyers, you're a teacher, whatever you say you are. Me, I used to be one of those people. I can sit in the classroom. I often sit, anyone that went to school with me when I was growing up, they'll tell you. I often sit in the back. I sat in the back because at the back of the classroom, I can see everything. I can see all the jokers. I can see those people who are talented. I can see if the teacher knows what he or she is doing. I can see all that. I can see if the teacher is making mistake too. I can see it. I can see all the people in there that are smart, that are dumb, that are slow. I can see everything. I can see all of the talents. That's the reason why when I was in school, I sat in the back. You understand these things? There are people that understand themselves early on so they don't struggle. You see, some kids in the classroom is boring for them. They're sitting there and they like when other people are struggling, they just, no, it's easy. They'll be saying, oh, this stuff is easy. Why are you struggling? Because they see it. They see what the formula is already being played in their head. They see it. You haven't seen it, but they see it. Some teachers are so smart enough, they can see it too in the child. That teacher has power too, so the teacher can see. When power sees power, Take it from me. I'm a traditionalist. When power sees power, power knows. Those people who are powerful, when they see another power, they show reverence. That's why when the bishop comes around, you see all the pastors, they give him a special seat. They worship him. Just pay attention. Go to some of your program houses here around in our world. And you see when the bishop steps into these houses, you see how they honor him. They're not honoring him because of his title, which Yeshua Mashiach doesn't give a crap about, or Jesus, aka Jesus Christ. But these people, they honor him not because of his title. It's because of the power he possesses. You understand? That's why they honor him. I'm just telling you. So from today on, try to seek, like Jesus said, Yeshua HaMashiach. I never say Jesus without saying Yeshua HaMashiach. And I never say Yeshua HaMashiach without saying Jesus, because these are just to make you understand there's a name before that name, Jesus. Jesus is colonialism. It's colonial name. You understand? All those disciples are Europeans. They're not Hebrews. They're all European names. They're all colonizers. Yeshua HaMashiach. That's the Hebrew's name. That's the name of Jesus. You understand? So you hear me going back and forth with that. So if you're out there, I see some people, sometimes a rapper comes out and he's looking different, tattoos all over. You see he has this funny look and people like, that's demon, that's devilish. You don't know anything about that. That person is expressing the character that represents the power to the world. There's no problem with that. You do that every time. The way you talk to people, the way you behave to people, the way you interact with people, you do that all the time with your character, whether it's good or bad. You do that with your character. So if they are expressing themselves, that could be a decent human being, but because they have tattoo all over their face or they look like Satan, and you in your mind, that's the image that they've created in your psyche or in your mind. So you think they're devilish. But within the person could be a decent human being. But you have maligned them. You've put them into a class. So what would they do? They would portray the character that you've put them into. They will portray that character. So let people be. When you see them, start calling them Satan, devil. You are religious when you do that. You are not supposed to be pointing finger at people. The ones that, in my own view, the ones you're supposed to be pointing fingers at are the organized religious people. The ones. But some of you don't read the scriptures, so you don't know. You understand? That's why the prophet says, my people perish. I think it's Prophet Uzziah or something. Not Uzziah. That says, my people perish because of the lack of knowledge. They don't know. The book is right in front of you. All you can do is read it. But don't just read it because it's hard to read. Whenever you read the Bible or the Quran, ask for guidance. If you believe in Allah, ask for Allah, guidance. If you believe in Jesus Christ, ask, or God, ask for the guidance of the Spirit. But if you're just going to read it, you're going to be reading the Bible just like any other novel or any other book. You wouldn't be able to understand. Because those who constructed that book were also wise people with powers. Everything there is to life is in there. When we talk about sex, it's in there. When we talk about murder, it's in there. When we talk about good, it's in there. When we talk about evil, it's in there. Everything there is to life is in there. You don't want to discover that, but you want to discover yourself. And when you discover yourself, you will see your power is beyond what's in there. And whatever is in there will not cast a spell on you. Because that stuff in there casts a spell on you that keep you in bondage. And then your generation, from one generation to another, come into that. That's the reason why when a child discovers themselves and they try to extract themselves from that situation, the parent goes crazy on the child as far as kicking them out of the home. Or an entire society would alienate a person because they've discovered themselves. That's a spell that has been cast on society simply by social construct of that book, whatever the book are, organized religious texts. Those are not ordinary books. But to fully emancipate yourself, you must deconstruct whatever has been told to you about anything that has to do with these books, these organized religious texts out here. And that's what I do in my videos. You understand? So each of us has innate ability that has nothing to do with Satan. Satan is not real, or the devil, Lucifer, whatever you want to call, it's not real. Humans are real, and humans has power. I don't want to even go to the African tradition because that I know. That I know. I've seen. You understand? So if I start to talk about that, you'll be like, wow. Telling you, humans are powerful. Human has power that's beyond your understanding. But when you seek first the kingdom of yourself, which is what Jesus said, you will find, and every other things, my friends, will be added to you. Every other thing can be anything. Whatever is it you're seeking for, you will find it. So I've always say on my videos, and will say again, the greatest thing that could ever happen to anyone is not the day you were born, not the day you had your first child, the day you graduated from high school, became a lawyer, doctor, whatever it is that you're doing. The greatest thing that could ever happen to you, my friends, is the day you discover yourself. Because from that day on, everything start to make sense to you. No one will ever fool you about this Satanism. When you see people expressing the character of who they are, you wouldn't see them as devilish or demons or Satan. Secret society is just a bunch of people that has the same innate abilities, powers, coming together to form a group.